Hi everybody. Today we are answering a question live about our business. Today you can ask us anything about our business. We did have a few questions that were sent in that we're going to try to cover. If you have questions for us as we go, you can leave those in the comments and we will try to get to them as quickly as we can, whether you're finding us on Facebook or Instagram or over on YouTube. And if you have not been here with us before, then this might seem just a little bit random, but you're more than welcome to check out our website and see all of the different things that we do here. We have training business, we have coaching, we do clinics, we have a tack shop, and we do online coaching. So we have some online products as well that we sell. But the question today for our weekly live was, there was a few questions, they were all kind of tied in for business. So we lumped them together. And the ones that we have so far are, how do you fill your clinics so fast? Basically, what's with the Facebook Live? Somebody wrote something really nice about our Facebook Lives and wanted to know how they fit into the business and not just answering questions for people. Who does our web design, or is it us? Is it you? And what apps do we use? So this live is going to be just a little bit different. Most of the time we're talking about tack, or we're talking about horse shows or training strategies, or equitation, or any of the things that we do as part of our way to serve you. And today's just a little bit different because it's a little bit more behind the scenes and talking about the business side of things. Okay, so let's get right into it. First question was, and we get this every year when we do our clinics, how do you fill your clinics so quickly? We are enrolling for spring clinics right at the moment, and last week we put out all of the info for our ranch clinics. Those are all full. This morning our reining clinic info went out. Last time I checked, it was already 75% full. So if you are interested, if you're watching this while it's live and you're interested in doing a reining clinic with us this year, you should check those out right away on our website, Hayes Cofell Performance Horses .com, or you can actually go right to the shop. They're actually on the shop as an item that you can just check out right there and guarantee your spot. In the shop, the website is reining-tack-canada.com, and then you would just scroll down to clinics, find reining clinics for 2024, and get yourself signed up. How do you fill your clinics so quickly? They do fill really fast. We've filled clinics in 45 minutes before. We've filled clinics in an hour and a half. We've filled clinics in a day or 2 days. And years ago, we filled clinics, but it took a little while, or it took, personally asking some people, do you want to come to this clinic? Do you want to talk about that? Kind of how we managed to fill the clinics that we do?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Because we're dang good at what we do.
Yeah.
We've learned how to coach. We had to learn that. I did. I did not grow up in coaching. We had to learn how to coach. We had to learn how to explain things to people that worked. We have a good group of people around us, and they're a good time, they're an educational day, and they're a fun deal. Mm-hmm. That's the easiest way to put it.
No, I think that's the best advice for somebody else too that is in business, is if you're going to sell anything, you have to make sure it is an amazing product or an amazing service. So if you want to fill clinics, you have to get really, really stinking good at clinics. You have to put on some clinics where maybe they aren't full, and you put absolutely everything you can into making sure that everybody that came had a good time. They felt like they were valued while they were here. They felt like they came away having learned something. It doesn't even have to be a lot of things, but something tangible that they can take away. learning
2 things well is better than learning 5 things halfway.
Oh my gosh, it's unreal how, I just think it's really important to make sure that you're doing a good job serving your clients at a clinic. A lot of people put on clinics and, you know,
good horse trainers are not always good clinicians.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had to learn.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like this is getting to be where we're going to talk more to like young professionals. Well, I'm still young.
I feel like this whole live is kind of applicable to anybody in any area of the equine industry because we kind of overlap into a lot of things with the tack shop and the training and the online business stuff. But
for me, the clinics, the hardest part was understanding that 2 things learned good was the best thing you could teach somebody.
Yeah, your problem was more like you.
I wanted to do the whole ring.
You wanted to teach everybody everything all the time, and it was overwhelming. But even that is better than going to a clinic. Like I've been to clinics where the person is obviously there just because they're there to get a paycheck or just because they're there to say that they put on a clinic, and they're not there focused on how can I help this person right now, right where they're at to get the next piece that's going to unlock the next thing. They're there because they're getting paid, or they're there because somebody told them that it'd be a good idea to do a clinic, or, you know, it's a good way to get your name out or whatever.
I think you just said a neat thing there too. For anybody that wants to get into coaching, whether it be coaching or clinics or whatever, first you have to go learn to do it. You know, and everybody kind of doesn't realize this, but I've sat and listened to a lot of people coaching, whether it be at horse shows or at functions or whatever. You know, we went to clinics to watch and see how we have a different perspective on it because we obviously are there for the content and you can always learn something. But we come away from horse shows and clinics and stuff like that or functions, and we want to know the going-ons of it because that's what we have to put on. So we analyze the going-ons, and just because you can sit out there and talk, if you don't, A, know how to do it well, it's tough. You know, I mean, before I would give, and I gave clinics, I mean, you know, they were, you know, I thought they were great. Looking back, I was like, oh shoot, you know, we should have always done this or that. But you got to learn how to do it before you can provide a good service to a customer. And sometimes that's tough. You know, I know for me, sometimes you sit there and go, well, geez, I always did it this way. And that's an ego thing. But you really have to learn how to do it. And I mean, we come from very different backgrounds. I come from, you know, we rode horses. I never had anybody that helped me with the business side of it. I mean, I worked for a couple of really good horse trainers, and I'm not insulting any of them when I say this because they all know it. Business was not their best part of that. They were great horse trainers.
Or I don't know that business isn't the great part of it, because if they're running a business for a long time, they have business skills. But I think what you're trying to say is they don't have a formal education in business.
Well, or they did it because they've always done it the same way. You know, you definitely came from a different mindset. Like, to me, the clinic was, you know, let's get the horses in there. Let's start working.
Yeah. And even the place where I took lessons growing up, like the lady there, she was a business person probably before she was a horse person, and not formally trained, but her focus was making money, you know, and she made no qualms about it. She was there to make money. And the whole program was built that way, to be profitable, which I think
it has to be that way.
It has to be that way. People like to work with horses because we love it, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, you shouldn't have to make a lot of money. You don't want to soak people, and you do it because you love it, so, you know, you don't get to go on vacations, or you don't, you know, whatever, you give up a lot of other things. But bottom line, you have to, it has to be profitable. You know, you have to be charging enough that you...
My kids need to eat.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can't keep doing it, and you can't serve your clients well.
That was the thing that I never realized as much, as how much better you can serve your clients when you can do your job, be done with your job at the end of the night, and come back and mentally be there the next day. You know,
we're getting really off track.
Yeah,
How do you fill your? We have a lot of thoughts on this. How do you fill your clinic so fast? So knowing the content, you have to be really, really good at what you're trying to teach. Then you have to develop the skills to teach it, and then you have to put it together in a way that people really enjoy themselves and they want to come back.
Mm-hmm. This is a hobby sport.
Yeah,
it has to be enjoyable. You can work hard. You know, you can work the horses hard. You can work the people hard.
Yeah.
But boy, they better come away excited.
And then the other part of it is once you get a few people who are really good, and I think this is true in any type of business, once you get a few people who are really, you know, your diehard fans, your people who will sign up for whatever you put out and are enjoyable to be with and just sing your praises to anybody who walks in the barn who's new or anybody that they see that even remotely brings up a horse. Having those clients is absolutely invaluable to your business, because once you get some of those, then you can build on those. If you have clients in your barn who are taking lessons from everybody all around the whole country, or are, you know, not even the loyalty, but like they're not really there to improve. They're kind of there to just compare themselves to other people, or like once you get those people that are that real perfect fit, then things kind of fall into place. Things kind of build from there. That's a huge part of filling clinics. And then once you start filling them, then it almost gets more challenging, because then you have to sharpen up on all the other stuff, making sure that you're collecting the money for them, and you're, you know, taking a wait list so that if somebody's horse lambs up and they have to bail, that you can try to fill that spot for them, because you want the same people coming back. You know, you want people to be really happy with their experience, whether they were able to show up for the clinic or not. Mm-hmm. You know, you want those people to sign up for the next one. Okay, let's move on, because we have a lot of questions here, and we're gonna...
Okay, stop ranting. Get focused.
Okay, the next one was... The way I wrote it down was what's with the Facebook Lives, because somebody wrote in and said, I love your Facebook Lives. Thank you so much for doing them. They were amazing, especially during COVID. You know, we chuckled along, we watched them. So many, you know, this person said some really, really kind things. So thank you for that. They also said, I'm so curious to know how it has impacted your business. Do you want to speak to that?
I think, well, especially through COVID, it kept everybody engaged.
Yeah.
You know, when nobody, that's why we started it.
That's why we started it. It didn't start out.
We were still riding horses. Yeah. We weren't teaching lessons. But, you know, we'd get lots of text messages and phone calls from people, you know, miss the barn, miss doing stuff, whatever. So we thought, well, you know, we'd start doing this. No, we did not say that. You said that. And I went, oh, whatever, rah, 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 rah. But it kept everybody engaged. It keeps everything going. And I think the way it impacted our business was it was a great advertisement for, like, this is what we do. You know, I know lots of times I get that way where I do my work. You know, I don't look at advertising. I don't look at being out there as an important thing. You really love super, super organic. Like, if somebody brings a horse in, you want to do the best possible job on that horse so that that person will come back for lessons or bring the horse back or tell their friends and bring their friends. Like, you love that real organic way of selling yourself. Well, that's how I did it for years. Yeah. I mean, I remember I used to laugh because my advertising budget for the year was there used to be a little magazine up in Lucan, the Horse Trader magazine, and a really nice old lady ran it, and she would give me a little thing there, and we put an ad out once in a while, and it was not like... I didn't advertise, and mine was word of mouth, and that's how also the mentality of I was a horse trainer, this wasn't a business, I trained horses. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was just a different way of doing it. It worked. I mean, not as good as it does now, but that's just the way I was. As we're now, it's an advertisement. We're out there. You know, we talk about products, we talk about training, we talk about things that I believe in and don't believe in. So it's just easier. People kind of know, you know, what I do a little bit, not a lot, but you know, a little bit. And it was just a great advertisement for the things that we do. You know, lots of things I would do, like let's say selling used saddles or something, nobody knew I did it. It would just be I'd buy one and sell one, and you know, you never talked about it. Mm-hmm. So it was just different.
In business, there's a lot of talk about building a brand and building the know, like, and trust factor. So a client has to know you, like you, and trust you before they are going to want to give you their money. And that wasn't the reason why we started doing the Facebook Lives, but that has been one of the things that has happened through these Facebook Lives, is that people get to know us, they get to like us or not like us, and that's important. Even the people that don't like us, that's important, and trust us. So by putting ourselves out in a really genuine and organic, and like, we do not do a lot of prep for these.
No kids.
I have to pull him out of the arena every single week. I have to be like, we have to do this. Like, it's 11:57. Like, get off of a horse or get in here, put a different hat on so you look clean. You know, we don't do a lot of prep. And like, even for today, I wrote the questions down on the paper just so that I wouldn't forget what they were. This is a really genuine way for us to connect with you and for you to get to know whether you like us and trust us and you want to do business with us, or if you don't. I think,
and that works on both ways too, because I think the or don't, like before somebody would send me a horse in, I think one way, they thought another way. Well, it wasn't good for either of us. So
yeah, it's not good.
We don't even have to worry about it. Walk away before we even start. And I have lots of horses. There's lots of horse trainers for you, and you know, everybody needs to figure out their best way, and it worked out really good that way. I can't believe you don't think I prep a lot when I put on my fancy sweatshirt every week and dress up so well with a old hat.
like this, like strings coming off your... We're talking about business here. We should have maybe cut the strings off of the hole in your vest. Yeah, I mean, the Facebook Lives have been amazing for our business because of that. Because now, for people who watch and get to know us, you know, we already know that we're in alignment. You know, we already know that our values are somewhat in alignment, and you know, it's great. We love it. I love it. Don't you? I did not want to be face on camera at first.
No, I remember that.
Did not.
I think getting back to like young professionals or people starting out, I get asked all the time, how can I get some horses? Like, nobody will send me a horse. Nobody send me a horse. Mm-hmm. The way I did it 30 years ago, I went out and found horses. I busted my butt to get horses in the barn. I was lucky enough to work for a guy who found me lots of horses too, but you can't do that. I mean, it was the worst way to do it. I mean, I starved, but I was stubborn. I think the thing that I realize now, if you're starting out, you need to get out there a little bit. You need to, whether it be go to shows, put on functions, all that kind of stuff, be in the public eye so they see you, they know you. You know, when you get to a show, and don't hide anything, you know, be you at the horse show. This is how I train horses. I don't hide anything. Like, you want to see the good, the bad, it's all here. It's all me. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, whether it be a Facebook Live or, like, I know lots of decent horse trainers that are starting out, but they don't want to show because they feel like they can't win a big show. That's not where you get started. So that just happened today.
I don't know. Something's
I wonder if everybody saw that. It's just like,
I don't know. We got
celebration,
fireworks. Yeah.
You know, you just have to be out there. I mean, I worked sale barns. Anybody offered if I would give a clinic. You know, I went to the local club shows that I just went to ride my horses around just to be out there. And you got to be out there. And this was a way for us to do it, especially through COVID, and we just kept doing it.
We kept doing it because
it's neat.
Yeah,
it's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Like, we love going to a horse show, and or even people come for a clinic or whatever, and they have been watching the lives, and they're, you know, they have some kind of neat questions to ask about something that we talked about, or, you know, they'll ask something about, oh, like, what's the progress on the tack shop? Like, how's the tack shop doing? Or how'd that horse end up that you did this? Or, like, we love that. It's so...
it's interesting how many people
it's a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit off-putting to have somebody really know a lot about you and you don't know them at all. But past that initial, like, oh, you already know all of these things, you know, then it's really cool because there's a connection that's been made. You know, it's online, it's digital, but there is a connection that has been made, and we've had some really, really awesome customers come in because of these Facebook Lives.
I think that, and yeah, like what you just said was also kind of a neat thing. People know it a little bit. And I feel like over the years, like getting back to if you're a young horse trainer, people are going to talk about you. You might as well put yourself out there and give them you to talk about instead of the BS, you know, somebody saying, oh, so-and-so does this or so-and-so does that. Yeah. Put yourself out there and say, this is what I do, like it or not, but this is me. And, you know, you want a horse in here? Cool. And if not, I'll help you find somebody else. But
I remember when we hadn't been together that long, it was before we moved here. And somebody said something on the internet about, like, it was one of those things where somebody was asking for a horse trainer, and somebody had recommended you, said you were a really good horse trainer, and I can't remember how they worded it, but it was something like, but his wife is bitchy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wife, girlfriend, I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it was something like that. And the person that wrote it, I knew who it was. They had been up to take lessons with you. I had been there, I believe, one time when they took a lesson with you. And I, beyond saying hi, I don't think I said anything to them because they were there taking a lesson. I came up, we weren't here. Like, I was riding, done it. I went up, I rode the horse, and I peeled out of there. I was, you know, and I didn't mean to be rude, but I certainly didn't say anything that warranted you know, his wife is bitchy online. I don't think. But that has stuck with me because I thought, you know, maybe I gave off those vibes. Maybe there was something with that person that made them say that about me that day. You know, maybe they thought somebody else was your girlfriend and that's who was being, I don't know, whatever it was. I didn't feel like it was fair. I really felt like that was unfair to judge me that way and say that and then put it online. This is my livelihood. This is my, you know, so to say to people who are looking for a horse trainer, well, you know, Lindsay's bitchy. I thought that's a pretty strong statement. I take that, you know, pretty personally. So one of the neat things about doing a Facebook Live, like what you were saying, is you put yourself out there and you give people the opportunity to decide what they think about you. If somebody watches one of these and they decide they don't like me, that's probably fine because this is who I am, you know? Whereas if I don't go Facebook Live and I don't talk to people when I go to horse shows and I don't put myself out there, the only thing people know about me are the things that people say.
Oh, and I've seen that.
Hopefully there's a lot more good things than that one bad thing. But, you know, that I think that's an important thing with business, is to put yourself out there and let people decide for themselves based on who you really are and how you really do business.
I know when I go out sometimes, like whether I bring babies out to a place to ride or somebody will see me at a horse show, I've had lots of people, you know, oh, we didn't send you a horse because, you know, you do this or you're this way or whatever. And then you meet them, and I've had numerous people be like, well, you know, we'd always heard this about you.
We thought this, yeah.
And you think, well, A, who told you? Because that doesn't make, like, you know, whether it be right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Everybody has a different opinion, and it's fine. Mm-hmm. But that's the neat thing about young trainers. You got to get out there because if they see you ride the horse, and that's how you ride, you know, and not everybody's going to like how you ride, whether you're too gentle or too rough or too fast or too slow. Mm-hmm. At least the customers that come to you are going to appreciate what you are.
Yeah. I had somebody one time send me or refer somebody for lessons to me because I was, I forget how they put it, but like I wasn't going to put up with anything. I think she said hard ass. I feel like I'm swearing a lot in this one.
And you wonder why people
I know, no wonder people call me names. I think she said Lindsay's a hard ass. She won't put up with anything. She'll, you know, whatever. And to some people, maybe I'm that way. To some people, I'm not enough that way. But I think that's the thing with putting yourself out there is then that person can decide for themselves, not based on somebody else's recommendation, that is that person going to be the right person to coach my daughter? Anyway, we got on another rant there about Facebook Lives. The next question was, who does your web design? Did we have questions as we were going through here? I have not seen any questions. I just see lots of people watching. Thanks for watching, you guys. Robin,
who
Ruth,
does our
Kathy,
web design?
Josie,
Anybody
Kim,
that knows me,
Autumn, Karen,
knows that I do not do the web design.
Scott, Danielle. Hi, everybody. You don't do any web design at all? No. We've had a few different people do web design over the years, and started out with a personal friend who did my website years ago. She did a beautiful job. She's a really, just a really long time friend. Then I took a business course and I wanted to make changes. And at that time, it was really hard for somebody who wasn't a web designer to make changes to their website. So I wanted to do my own so that I could be changing it all the time and so that I could be using it to advertise for clinics or advertise horses for sale or saddles for sale or whatever else it was that I wanted to put on there. I wanted my website to do more work for me than be like a static page. So I took this business course, tried to make my own website, and it was not good. It was like, you know that picture? I don't know if you've seen that. You know that picture, and it's like a beautiful sketch of a horse, and like the front half is done by like a professional artist, and then the back half of the horse is just like finished by somebody who, like me or you. And it's like when your client wants to do it themselves, or your client wants to, you know, go with somebody who charges less or something. That's what it ended up looking like. And luckily, in taking that business course that I was taking at the time, I met somebody who does web design specifically for horses. We became really, really, really good friends. And she does our web design. She has helped with what?
Well, I was going to say one of the reasons she does such a good job is she specializes in
horse. Yeah, she's a horse person. She knows the industry in and out. She goes to the events, she rides, she knows all different kinds of the industry. Like she does a lot of work actually for equine photographers. She just did one for somebody who does handmade cinches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she does like supplements. She does associations, horse trainers, like all kinds of things.
And that was one thing I think we found out was that having knowledge of the horse world, not just being in it, but actually knowing the business part of it, was a huge, huge asset with Denise, was that there was that knowledge. And then you guys made sure I had nothing to do with it and had no input.
Yeah.
That helped out a lot.
Yeah, you don't know like anything about our website, do you? Like I don't even know, like you know how to get to it. Yeah.
I don't know how to run it. Anybody that doesn't know me, I know nothing about computers, and I rely completely on you because I am not techie. And
yeah, so Denise Alvarez does our web design. Storm Lily Marketing is the name of her business. She is in Missouri, so she's not Canadian. She's in Missouri. She does a phenomenal job, and she does all areas of marketing.
She's not Canadian. She has one X against her. It's the one thing. We're sorry, Denise, but
Yeah.
you're a really nice lady.
You're a really nice lady.
Very highly of you. I really like you, but you're not Canadian.
Yeah, Denise does our website. She does a phenomenal job, and she, our website has branched out from just like a kind of a standard like place to go to see what we do, to also having the shop, to having a link where you can sign up for the free trot rhythm exercises that we have, the Lope Departure series that we have, any of the digital products that we have. Denise, I mean, she's unreal. Denise has done an amazing job of putting all of that together and creating a consistent brand appearance for us. She's also phenomenal at just getting your voice right. Like, she can write something and it sounds like I wrote it. She can suggest something to me for like one of our weekly emails or our, something that we're doing inside of Momentum or like whatever, and she can be like, well, what about like something like this? And the way that she says it is like you and I would say it. And I've seen her do work for other people where she captures their voice, which is kind of in alignment with what we were just saying about how you want to put your own self out there, your genuine self out there, and that's how you bring in the right people. Your website and your web presence can do that. So she's the person responsible for, she didn't actually create our logo. She had somebody else that works with her create our logo, but the brand colors and the fonts and the consistency throughout the website, the shop, any of our signups, and then I can take those things and I can use them to create graphics or advertisements or whatever else it is that I need to create.
I think one thing, like I keep talking about, like any young people wanting to be in the horse world as a business, get the right people. My God, you can't do it all.
No.
And that was one thing I never really appreciated. You can't do it all. Get the right people. Like we have a lady, she's been a customer of mine for many years, and Melissa does a lot of the photography for saddles and stuff like that. Like the photos she can take. I mean, I have no idea how to do that stuff. She does a great job. Mm-hmm. We have, and then in the barn, I mean, surround yourself with the right vets, the right horseshoers, get the right people. You might think you're cheaping out by going with Joe down the street, but get the right people. It'll work out.
I thought it was so interesting that somebody asked, like, who does your web design? Because most people, or I shouldn't say most people, it seems like a lot of people don't want to invest in a website right now because they think they get all of their customers from social media. And I think it's really, really important that you have a website, even if it's only, a one-page website. But I think it's really important that you have a website. It depends on where you're at in your business, whether you have a one-page or whether you have a full-blown 5-page or a 5-page plus a shop plus a, bunch of digital products and stuff. But I think it's really, really important to have that, to have a website. You don't, should I go out there? You don't own Facebook, you don't own Instagram. Any one of those things can go away at any time. You can totally lose your account at any time. And I think it's really important to have a website that you own and you have control over, so that you can always have a place where people can find you and they can find what you do. It's not super easy to maintain a Facebook page or an Instagram page that is always advertising what you do, what services you offer, what products you offer. But your website can act like an employee if you invest a little bit up front to get it so that it's really good.
Now here's a silly question then from somebody that doesn't know.
Yeah.
Why is a website better than Facebook?
Well,
or not better, but why is it
because if you, I just said this while you went to check on that
sorry.
horse, but like, if you have, let's say you have a Facebook page and you have a bunch of, you know, clients, like let's say you have 300 and whatever people on your Facebook page, and you're working hard to get more people on your Facebook page so that you can advertise your clinics or your, you know, whatever. Facebook, well, I guess it's Meta now that owns Facebook and Instagram. Meta is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, and at any time, the whole thing could close down. Your account could get lost. Your account can get hacked. You don't own that spot. It can be a great free way to advertise yourself and drive people to your website, because that's where you actually have a presence. You control what it looks like. You control all of the words that are on there, and you control making it easy for people to see the things that you can offer them.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then the other thing I said was your Facebook, or sorry, your website can act like an employee. If you're like some people who don't like to talk about their services and advertise themselves, your website can do that for you.
Mm-hmm. That's the part I always see is like there's so many questions that could be answered that I don't need to answer, that people find out before they ever.
Oh my gosh, or if you're on Facebook and you have people all the time sending you messages like, how much does it cost for a lesson? Or can I come with 2 people? Or can I, you know, how much is your training? Or what does your board include? Or how big is your arena? Or whatever, you can have that all on your website. So even if you do get a message like that on Facebook, you do want those messages coming in on Facebook, you can refer them to your website so that they can see everything that they need right then and there. And you don't have to be trying to turn the hose off while you're watering horses and text, you know, one answer at a time back and forth for, you know, 25 messages. And then you still haven't watered your horses and your hands are frozen. Whatever. You know, you're trying to ride horses and answer questions at the same time. Your website can do that. Plus, your website is where people go into Google and they type whatever, horse training in London, Ontario, or Bob Saddles in Canada, or whatever, and then that's how they can find you.
What other questions you got? I got a question for you, but I'm gonna wait.
Okay, the other question that we had, I don't see any that have come in here yet, but the other question we had was, what apps do you use? What apps do you use for your business?
Well, let me tell you, the weather app.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Do you? Do you use the weather app?
No, but Caitlin always picks on me for this. I have the weather button on my phone. I don't think it's an app. I think it's a...
Yeah, that's an app.
Oh,
yeah.
So there you go. I use an app. I wake up in the morning. I go, how cold is it going to be? What do I got to wear to work today? There.
Very good.
I don't know how to...
Facebook? You use the Facebook app.
Is that an app?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. We use a lot. Actually, we don't. I use a lot of apps because we're using a lot of different things, but the main ones are Facebook and Instagram. Canva. I use Canva for anything that we need to do for design. A lot of people use Canva. A lot of people know about it now. I use the pro version, and I have all of our branding stuff put into Canva. So a lot of the work can be done for me very easily inside of Canva. Highly, highly suggest that you get Canva if you are in business and you don't have it. Anybody, Canva is amazing, and I highly suggest, even if you don't do the pro version, that you use your brand colors and brand fonts, and you don't just go with whatever random thing Facebook or Canva pulls up, because Canva has incredible designs and all kinds of different designs. And if you just go with whatever they have, you're not staying consistent with your brand. You want everything that you put online to be easily recognizable as being part of your brand. So use your colors, use your fonts, and you can use a free app like Canva to do that. Super, super powerful. I also use Kajabi for the online, hosting online products. I've used Flowdesk before for emails. Right now I use Kajabi And actually Denise, who does our web design, she helps with our emails as well, because she does email marketing. And we put that over into Kajabi a few years ago so that I didn't have to also pay for Flowdesk, but Flowdesk is really good. We use Shopify for the shop. I use Dropbox for photos and videos. I use Otter to create transcriptions. If I do an audio lesson or something and I need the transcription to be online, inside of Momentum, I use a program called Otter. I use a program called Media Convert to change anything if it's not in the right format. I use Clips for videos. I use Giant Square on Instagram, which is one of the ones where, if you've seen it, it creates, like, instead of having one photo per thing for your grid, you can create like one big image that takes up like 6 grids or 9 grids or whatever, which you definitely don't need to do that. If you're looking at what apps to get, you definitely don't need to. I just like it. I think it's cool. I use QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks for all of our accounting and invoicing. I use a currency converter app, and I use iMovie. You've heard of those. You use iMovie when you record your voiceovers.
Oh, was that the one where, yeah, I just pressed you set it up.
I set it up and you push the microphone button.
There's some of those I've never even heard of.
No. Well, so we use a lot of apps to do different things. And apps are, I don't know. I mean, somebody younger than us is laughing at me saying apps are amazing, but like, we didn't used to have access. We didn't used to have access to stuff like this. You had to pay a professional a lot of money to do stuff like this before. And so the readily available technology literally at our fingertips is game changing for businesses. A lot of it is so easy to use too. It's so intuitive. Some of it's not, but most of it is. You were going to ask me something.
If you had somebody that's starting out in the horse world, they came in here and they said, I want to make a business of this. What was the one thing?
Out of one, like anything, like equine nutrition or photography or massage therapy or training or like.
I think it's general though. Like, what do you feel when you started out you wish you would have known that you know now?
Ooh.
Like, mistake you made that you were just like, man, I could have fast tracked so much on that.
I feel like I was in a really good position because I had a formal education. So I didn't have to learn a ton of things the hard way. I feel like I was really fortunate that way. I went to equestrian school, and a big part of that was you actually have to develop the skills. You actually have to develop the skills for me to teach then as well. And you have to develop at least some business skills. So what thing do I wish I would have known to save me like doing it the hard way?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What thing do you wish you would have known?
I think for me, the biggest thing I got caught up with when I was younger, and it's still easy to get caught up as a horse trainer, is you think I need every horse. And that definitely was a hard thing ego-wise to say.
That you think like every horse is for you to train? Like
I needed every stall filled. I needed to, I needed the business. I needed the work. I needed the thing. Instead of, like, I can remember, having 2 people hired and we were just riding junk horses.
Whatever, yeah.
Instead of just concentrate on the nice horses, the nice customers, treat me great, I'll treat you great. Like, just the, like, I'd put up with a lot of crazy people, a lot of crazy horses. Mm-hmm. Instead of just, if it doesn't suit me and it isn't the right fit,
yeah,
call it what it is. I'll gladly refer you to somebody you know, I'll try to find you a great a great trainer or a great horseshoer or whatever. It just doesn't work for me. You know, obviously when I started out, I didn't have, and I still don't, I rely on you for this. I didn't have a business background. I didn't have a business brain. So that would have been really cool. You know, looking back, I wish I would have went to some schooling and
about business.
yeah, I pursued that a little bit. I mean, my whole deal in high school was just trying to get out of school. I didn't want to stay in it any longer and learn anything. You know, but if you're going to do this 8 hours a day, you know, like everybody says, well, you know, it's a horse trainer. You're not a business. You know, you're a horse trainer first. But if I'm doing it 8 hours a day, I still have to pay my mortgage, pay my truck, pay my, you know, feed my kids. And you have to look at it a little differently. So having that behind me, and I was always scared to ask anybody that had done it. Like I looked at the trainers that were 10 years older than me, and I wouldn't ask them nothing. You know, I was always like, oh my gosh, you know, you don't ask them anything. And I think that was so silly because as I've gotten older, and some of those trainers that they're still 10 years older than me, but we're all sitting around talking, it's a different conversation, and they're happy to talk about it. Everybody's happy to discuss mistakes they made that they wish they could have short-tracked and whatever, and talk about, you know, maybe you want to ride this kind of horses. Cool, let's, you know, how do you make that happen? You know, not everybody wants to ride reiners, but, you know, I was always so scared to, like, I'd go to horse shows and I'd watch everybody. I mean, that was my big thing. I'd sit up late at night in the warm-up and I'd watch people ride, but I would never ask them about their business. I always felt like I was always a very taboo subject. You didn't ask people that stuff. That's where I feel like I could have saved a lot of problems over the years had I just asked and or listened. Maybe I did ask and they just told me and I didn't want to listen. My wife has told me I can be hard-headed sometimes. You know, I think that's the biggest one as I look at is like, and I see it now with a lot of the younger horse trainers and a lot of the people that are starting out in this deal. They might ask you how to get one broke or how to do this, how to do that, but they don't ask the questions about the other side of the business and how to make it a business that also has longevity and you can do it. You know, that was it just wasn't a topic in the world I grew up in.
Yeah, I mean,
is there anything
I don't know what I need to say now. I'm like, that's fascinating. I mean,
Why? What stupid things do I do now that you wish I would change? Put you on the spot for that one.
Like we already talked about this situation. This is an ongoing thing. Can you make yourself look presentable? It's just very different, right? Like, it's just a very different, I guess, mindset and a situation that we came from. And I think it's just another thing that makes our business work, right? Is like you rely on me for the tech stuff, I guess, and I rely heavily on you for a lot of things. Clearing the laneway. I mean, you help me with the horses more than anybody. You know, I've learned more from you about riding horses and showing horses and taking care of horses than anybody.
Yeah, but we do that off of each other because, I mean, you come from the technical equitation part of it. We both have our strengths.
We do, yeah. And that's, I don't know. I think that might be the thing that if I wish I would have known sooner or somebody would have told me. Like when I started, I was like, I'm doing everything myself. I'm doing everything by myself. And, you know, I'm going to make it work by myself. And if I got to learn how to do this, I'll learn how to do that. And I'll learn how to do this. And I'll learn how to, you know, I'll be totally self-sufficient and I will do this by myself. I'm going to make it work. And I don't regret that. But I think it would have been, I don't know. I think it would have been nice to know more from the beginning. There's no sense in trying to do all the things.
You can't do it. In any business.
You can't. Yeah, and you shouldn't. So find the right people and rely on them. And then as you can afford better help or afford, to hire a graphic designer or hire a web designer or hire a business coach or hire, then you do that. As your business grows, then you develop that, whatever it is that your goals are. I always say a world-class team. The objective is always to develop a world-class team, and that means having the best people cleaning the stalls and keeping an eye on the horses all the time. The best
health part, the riding part,
the health part, the riding part, the marketing part, all of it. Mm-hmm. What was there a question?
What do I consider junk?
Junk horses. Yeah, because you
that
say that and then people get offended by it.
Well, I think, and it's not just junk horses. It's anything that doesn't fit what you want to do. Like when I started out, I rode anything with 4 legs, and I mean, we rode them hard. We purposely got sent some that were outlaws, and were. Like there were some.
The ones that are like, oh, this horse has been through 4 trainers and they all say it's unrideable, but I'm going to bring it to you. And you used to be like, heck yeah, bring it on.
Oh yeah, that was an ego thing. That was challenge.
I never did that.
And some of them worked out. I had some that worked out good, but it isn't even so much junk as in like good or bad show horses or whatever. At that point, you need to have a conversation with your customer about what is their expectations as far as, like, if they want a club show level horse, and this horse is club show level, he might not be something I'm going to take to an NRHA show, but the owner will be happy, the horse will be happy. That is something you can pursue, and it will work out. If somebody says, like, I look back at it, and do I regret doing the outlaws and the stuff? No, I enjoyed it, and that everybody laughs at that part. But when I was younger and somebody said they had something, they had the weird, they had the crazy, they had the, it was challenge accepted.
If somebody would come in and say it won't tie, it flips over, you'd make it your personal mission to make sure that thing ties.
Oh yeah, it was a huge ego thing.
And not just that, you'd be like, this thing's loping around and it can spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem with that was,
yeah,
I was wasting a lot of my day on that horse when I could have had it better allocated to different horses. People would bring me horses in, and the one that always gets me now, and I tell, especially people that, help me and ride, those horses were tough because, okay, they might, let's say something doesn't tie. Well, did they break a set of cross ties? Now I'm out $20 for a new cross tie. Did one want to trash a saddle?
And is it going to get to the point where it's actually suitable for whatever they want it for? Because usually people don't just want a horse to tie. They want a horse that they can tie to the side of the trailer and go barrel race or whatever. So it's not just like, can you get it so that it can tie, or can you get it so that it can, kind of lope around quiet or whatever? It's like, is that horse actually going to fit what that person needs and wants? And if not, call it,
Yeah, the guy never had a problem, send that thing to a sale or make it do this job instead of that. That was always fine. But the worst part with what I called the junk horses were anybody that had an unrealistic expectation what they were.
Yeah.
Therefore, I felt obligated to try everything in my power, and then it just never worked out. And the problem with some of them horses too is like, let's say they're bad in the stall and they want to trash your stall. Well, you got to fix stuff and it costs money. Or they break a set of reins, or like everything that they want to beat up,
hurt you,
and my own body.
Yeah,
and. It wasn't, they didn't all have, like, when I say junk horse, I don't mean like something with no talent or whatever. That's a level that we're at now, that I don't want to ride the outlaws anymore. I don't care how many 2-year-olds I bring in. I just want to ride the ones I want to ride that are nice. Are they at different levels of talent? Yeah. But that's something as I've now become older that I'm like, you know what, I've done that.
That's something with an established business that you have the luxury of doing, right? Because some people, if you're just starting out, you have to take stuff. You have to take, I mean, I don't want to say you have to take all the dangerous horses, but like, you can't just say, oh, I only want, you know, reiners, or I only want show horses, or I only want
Yeah,
whatever.
you need to make a name
you
for
have to go through that, but
the sentence that always got me was, I didn't want to get on it because I felt like it would hurt me, so I'm going to send it to me, you know, down to me. Now I look at that and I think, you know what? No, not my cup of tea. Or this one hurt someone, so, you know, and I would be like, well, I can do it. You know, I make no qualms about it. I mean, I don't believe every horse needs to stick around either. If they're nasty and they're, you know, if they have a mean streak, there's a good spot for them horses to go. And anybody on here that doesn't believe in horse slaughter, guess what? You're not going to like me when it comes to this one.
Good job bringing that up.
If they're mean, I don't think they should be messed with.
I hope that answers Josie's question, though. Like, you kind of use junk horses kind of flippantly and use it for kind of a lot of things.
Yeah,
but,
I
like,
guess I don't explain.
You kind of meant, like, you know, horses that are probably not going to be good at the job that people want them to be good at, and you're riding them anyways, or
we're gonna make them
bad citizens. Like, just some. This is a whole, Josie, you're right. This is a whole separate life. Like, some horses are just not going to do the job that people want them to do, and some horses are just not going to do any job, and, you know,
just
need
like
to
people,
not be
some
around
horses
people
are
because
wrapped
somebody's
wrong.
going to get hurt. Yeah.
And if they're wrapped, there's a difference between they did something stupid and they're, you know, a little off kilter because they did something stupid and they can be fixed. But if they're deep rooted mean, there's a quick spot for those ones.
Yeah, I give people a lot of credit for trying to make sure that a horse has a good foundation or whatever, so that they can go on and have a meaningful and productive life. But some horses just can't do that.
And I can appreciate a horse that doesn't have the talent. Like if we started as a reiner, and let's say it just can't turn around as much, you know, if it's big and stout and can make somebody a rope horse, or if it's maybe a little fast, I'm like, great. You know, they're not a reject, they're not bad. They just needed a different job.
Just need a different job, yeah.
But when I was younger, I didn't care. If I am at the sale barn, I'll bring them home with me. I didn't care. That used to be a crazy time. Yeah. And I'm sure that everybody that worked for me used to just shake their head and go, "Oh my God, what is he driving in?
What's he
what is he driving in?"
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it. But I think for anybody starting out, there's a lot of good horses in the country, so everybody can be safer. But for me, hands down, the biggest thing I wish I would have known in business was the business side of it. You know, I made a
any business side, anything.
Yeah, I rode my bike.
Accounting, marketing, HR.
HR? What's that?
Well, like, I didn't really mean HR. I meant more like,
we have a human resource
being
department.
Politically correct and how to interact with clients nicely, and yeah. Okay, we answered a lot of things there. We went on a lot of rants, and
we're gonna go on bigger rants. We're gonna do that for a while. It's all gonna be.
Are
bigger
we just
rants.
a lot of rants? Rant.
The next
Shelley
month
will
is
be
just
happy.
gonna be.
She loves when you go on a rant.
Next month is just gonna be big rants.
Okay.
What are we talking about that we can rant on?
I don't know. Somebody sent in a question that they want you to rant on.
And then HR has to get involved.
Oh, geez. Okay, I think we answered the questions that were sent in. How do you fill your clinic so fast, and what's with the Facebook Lives, and who does your web design, and what apps do you use? If you have any further questions about any of these things, or if you have another random question that came up while we were chatting, send them on in to us at our email, hayescofellph@gmail.com. If you want in on any of our clinics, do that right away. If they're full, send me a message. I'll put you on the wait list. And if you want the info for our web designer, who's phenomenal, you let me know and I will happily get that to you, because she's incredible and I believe she is booking into the spring right now. So
We have a good group of people that work for us right now,
We do, yeah.
like vets and
All around.
Melissa with the photography and the web designer and the people that work for us in the barn. Got to give shit out to that too. I mean, everybody right now is just
Huge, yeah.
because all the people that I don't get along with don't put up with me and they leave.
Great.
You're still here.
Great. For now. Okay, thanks for being here with us, you guys. Like I said, if you have questions, please send them in to us because we would love to do a Facebook Live answering your question. Have a great day.